MAGA is desperate to blame anyone but themselves for gun violence. Leftists, liberals, trans people, and maybe a new scapegoat has entered the chat. Witches. Fly. As of Friday morning, September 12th, the suspected assassin of Charlie Kirk is in custody. President Trump appeared on Fox and Friends Friday morning saying this.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. So much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But yeah, I think we're in great shape.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox says the state is prepared to seek the death penalty.
Apparently, this is how we get breaking news now. The president hanging out on the couch with Fox and Friends saying, we got him. All right. Well, the him we got is Tyler Robinson. He's 22 years old, a white dude from Utah, allegedly raised in the Mormon faith, and speculations about his motivations and political affiliations are running rampant.
So this hits differently because Charlie was one of us, and Trump gets hit in the ear. Charlie gets shot dead. They came after Kavanaugh with a rifle to his neighborhood. They went after Musk's cars. They just shot 2 Jews outside the embassy. Think about it. Scalise got shot, barely survived. It's happening. You got trans shooters. You got riots in LA. They are at war with us. Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us. And what are we going to do about it? How much political violence are we going to tolerate? And that's the question we're just going to have to ask ourselves. Now, Charlie would want us to put as much pressure on these people as possible.
Jesse, who is they? Who is at war? Who are these people? Over the past couple of days, the right wing has been jumping to all the conclusions about the beliefs held by Wednesday's shooter before he was in custody, even before he was identified. They're highlighting violence committed against those they align with while completely ignoring acts of political violence committed against Democrats, like Melissa Hortman and John Hoffman and their spouses, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, a growing list of Democratic offices and candidates, and Paul Pelosi. This is a scourge of violence that knows no party. But maybe we can find an answer to this modern epidemic by looking at an epidemic of the past. We have to go back to the 90s, the 1690s, to Salem, Massachusetts. Witchcraft. Witchcraft. That sounds familiar. Where have I heard that before?
And in Indiana, specifically, I see if you look at the Republican ticket versus the Democrat ticket, it's strength and godly boldness versus just, I would say, the Jezebel spirit and just this idea of no boldness, right? This or boldness for immorality, right?
You said the word Jezebel spirit, and that's what we're seeing in a lot of these things that are taking place. A lot of the ideology and a lot of the policies and so forth are ultimately about control, which is the spirit of witchcraft.
Ooh, witchcraft, Jezebel's control. It's all coming together now. That was Indiana's Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith back in October of 2024, warning voters about the danger of these Democratic women running against them, Jezebels who are using witchcraft. But maybe he had a premonition, because on Monday, September 8th, 2 days before Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, Jezebel.com ran an article that said they paid Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk. The New York Post was all over this one, calling the article unsettling and disturbing. And according to the article, they wanted to ruin Charlie Kirk's day with the collective feminist power of the Etsy coven. And as an Etsy shopper, I can say it kind of feels like a coven. It has an unbelievable power to pull all of the money out of my bank account. In a statement put out after Kirk's death, Jezebel said the article was satirical, it was humorous, and it was in no way intended to promote violence against anyone. The piece has been taken down and replaced with a statement from Jezebel's editor emphasizing that free speech is a cornerstone of American democracy. Kirk's death was a tragic event that underscores both our country's gun problem and and the increasingly heated political divide. We do not condone or excuse political violence of any kind. Okay, Jezebel, got it. But the right needs someone to blame. It's gotta be witches, or trans people, or leftists, or liberals, or leprechauns, anything to distract from the fact that once again, another white dude picked up a gun and committed a horrific act of violence. In the same day Charlie Kirk was killed, another young white kid in Colorado took a gun to school, used it against his classmates, and then used it against himself.
Tonight, Colorado authorities identifying 16-year-old Desmond Hawley as a student who opened fire at Evergreen High School using a revolver. Investigators did not say where the shooter got the gun, but said he was radicalized by an extremist network. They say he continued to reload as he shot out windows and at lockers. Tonight, officials say 2 students remain in critical condition. Authorities say they have obtained search warrants for his home, phone, and locker, and add that his parents are cooperating with the investigation.
Radicalized online. There seems to be a pattern emerging. It doesn't seem to be because of gender identity or wokeness or prayer being taken out of schools. Just another young man radicalized on the internet. And the FBI actually has a term they are using for people like this. They are calling these people nihilistic violent extremists, or NVEs. According to the FBI, NVE networks online oftentimes target vulnerable individuals, including minors, frequently using social media platforms to share gore material or grooming victims towards committing acts of violence. Victims can also be blackmailed into complying with NVE demands, which may include self-harm, harm against others, harm to animals, or sexual exploitation. These online NVE networks are plentiful, and they go by a variety of names, like 764 or CVLT, and most of the participants are young men under the age of 25. And this term, NVE, is now included in the FBI and Department of Homeland Security's efforts on counterterrorism.
A lot of the ideology and a lot of the policies and so forth are ultimately about control, which is the spirit of witchcraft.
Yes, it is about control, but not control in the form of witchcraft. It's not a bunch of cool ladies casting spells and holding crystals. This is about control in the form of indoctrination by internet extremists. In the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's death, his followers and other Christian nationalists are going to try to convince us that the answer to this violence is putting a gun and a Bible in the hands of young Americans. But maybe it's time we start exploring how to get the worst of the internet out of their hands.